Hi and welcome to today's live. So if you are catching me on the replay, which I know lots of you do, then please just drop a comment, say hello, give me some love around this video wherever you're seeing it, and I would love to be able to answer any questions that you've got, anything that you go, oh yeah, I can now see that. Any of those moments, then please share. And strap in, because today we are going to talk about pain point marketing and why I passionately want to encourage you to use an alternative approach. So before I do, let me just really quickly introduce myself. So my name is Sarah Wisniewski. I am a visibility coach to online female entrepreneurs, and I help you to get seen and get signed. What I mean by that is to help you build a way of sharing your message so that you can show up consistently, show up and have fun, share what you do, and bring those perfect clients towards you. I have been doing that for the last 5 years since I left my corporate life, and I love it. I absolutely love it because I get to help those people who are amazing at what they do to have that ripple effect, to be able to connect with the people that they want to serve and have the impact on those lives. But when you train in your thing, you didn't necessarily want to become a marketer, did you? You wanted to become a therapist or a healer or whatever it is you are. So that's where I step in. Okay, so today we're talking about a slightly, I guess it's a subculture in terms of the marketing approach and the way that people are encouraged to position what they do out there in the big bad world of sharing your message. Now, let me give you some context to this and how I first came across even the phrase of pain point marketing. Probably if you'd asked me 6 or 8 years ago, I wouldn't have had a clue what you were talking about, didn't even know what it meant. And if you don't right now and you're listening going, I think I know, but I'm not really sure, that's fine. That's fine too. There's always some interesting terminologies that you'll recognise it, but maybe you haven't seen it labelled. So when I first left my corporate life, I knew that I would be able to coach. I knew that I had, through the career progression that I had followed within my corporate life, I'd coached people. I had a team that reported to me, and we together improved client relationships, grew those relationships to be mutually beneficial, and in doing that passed on all the experience that I got to my team. So I was already happy that I could coach. The piece that I didn't know was the how to get clients piece. And when the initial few weeks of my business were very much in that, oh, I'll just get a website, I'll do this, and then open the business and expected the clients to come. When they stopped coming because I wasn't actually doing any marketing, I went and sought help. Now, my first experience of getting help followed the quite extreme, I guess, pain point route, which led me to understand how I absolutely did not want to do it. But of course, at that point, I was totally naive, hadn't even heard the phrase, didn't know I was being subjected to that. And this is what my journey looked like. So I watched lots of information about this particular coaching group. I'm not going to name any names, but I went through a funnel effectively as I recognise it now. So they gave me information, they got me to watch a presentation, they allowed me to see what they did and how they'd be able to help people like me. And then I jumped on a call with someone. And that was really where it all sort of came to a bit of a head. I'm going to use the word bullying because it effectively is bullying, but it's not ever called that. It's not ever recognised as that. And what happened to me on that call was that they took me through an emotional journey. So we started off talking about what my hopes, my aspirations, my dreams were for my business, then took me back to, and how's that going? You know, where are things for you right now? And then again, kept replaying this, wouldn't it be good to get there? And well, if you carry on doing what you're doing now, you're not going to get there. But not only are you not going to get there, you're also going to kind of go backwards. You're going to impact your family. Finances are going to struggle. Sorry, phone ringing. You're going to end up in a situation where things are worse than they are now if you don't continue on this route. So I was left feeling so deflated, so like hopeless is probably the best word to say, where I'd been like, yeah, you know, it's worked pretty well, but I don't know how to get those clients on an ongoing basis. I knew I'd got gaps in my knowledge. I wasn't stupid, but I wasn't necessarily feeling hopeless. And that's where I was made to feel. Now what happened, and this is the kind of pain point switch, I guess, bait and switch it's called, is that you then fly in as the provider with the solution to all of that hopelessness. So effectively what that journey looks like for somebody that is going through it is that you dig into the pain, and there are all these phrases that come out. So find the bleeding neck problem, dig into the pain points, exaggerate the pain, make them feel even worse. And then when you do, you then bring in the solution which solves all of those problems really nicely, really simply, really easily, and make it really accessible for them and show them that you can provide that. So you're taking your person through okay, I know I've got some gaps, to really low, to then show them that actually we can get you back to where you want to. And because you've already asked questions about what are your dreams, what are your aspirations, where do you want to go with it, you can bring all that back in again and refer to it in the hopes, aspirations, here's what you can achieve. And I remember one particular question that just didn't work during this call on me. And that question was, do you like to travel? Can you see yourself having a business where you can just work from wherever, and you could take weeks and weeks and be just anywhere and do your work from a beach? Now that has never particularly appealed to me, quite honestly. I love being at home. I love my home environment, and I don't mind traveling, but it's not one for me. So I just kind of went, no, not really. And I almost could see, they're like, oh, well, that was one of the key triggers, that I was going to be able to paint this picture that you're never going to get there if you don't buy our thing. So in the process of going through that emotional roller coaster, I ended up getting my credit card out and committing to this £10,000 package, which turned out to be entirely misaligned with all of my values, and of course taught me what they had just done to me. Horrible. Bullying, scripted, press all of these trigger points, make somebody feel dreadful, and then fly in with the solution. And what that left me with was a very passionate desire to understand that there has to be another way, and how do we do it? But at that stage, I have to forgive myself, because I did not know that there was another route. I didn't know that there was an alternative way to connecting and building relationships and proving your expertise and being inspirational. I did not know any better. So, just like anything, when you're naive, you believe that this is probably the only way. And because I'm quite malleable, I took on all of those principles. But the first time I get somebody on a call in that kind of space, in that environment that we built, it was horrible. They cried, I cried, I didn't want them to buy anyway, and the whole thing just ended up just feeling horrible. So I wanted to share that with you as a personal confession, that here I am 5 years on in my business, doing something extremely different in a way that just feels so permission based. So when I connect with someone on a call, I offer to serve them for free as a connection, as a give value. And I say to them at the beginning, there's nothing for sale right now. But if you do want to hear about what I do and you think I can help you further, you can ask me and we can talk about it at the end. Probably 9 out of 10 people do, because it comes from that collaborative, energetic space, as opposed to get on a call, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing. So if any of this is creeping into your business because of maybe somebody that showed you a different way, or someone said this is the only way, then just kind of forgive yourself, notice it, look at what is happening in your messaging, and be kind. I'm not going to, say to anyone, oh, it's dreadful, you're part of the problem. Far from it. We don't know any better. We don't know what we don't know, do we? So allow yourself just to bring some consciousness to it, and just start to think about the language you're using. It can be really damaging. It can be very demoralising, demotivating to your audience. And from my perspective, how that then plays forward is, if someone buys from that demoralised state of low energy, then they're not ready to do the work. They're not ready to take that step up. They're not keen. They're not enthusiastic. You want somebody who's like, yes, let's do this. Come on, go, go, go. I can't wait. Oh, it's amazing what hope and exciting futures I've got ahead of me. That's the energy you want somebody to come in with, not the, yeah, if I don't do this, then this is potentially going to happen. So think about the way that you're using the language in a much more inspirational way as opposed to digging in. So let me talk a little bit more about how you can start to bring that in, but also how you can perhaps pop a different lens on and start to look at your messaging in a different way, because this runs into so many different areas. It might be the tone of the way that you write a post. It might be the way that you title your offer. It might be the way that you describe your person when you talk about who it is I serve. Using language which is much more uplifting changes that tone entirely. So let's use it in the context of your help statement. Now, I will tell you this now, even though this is not even my call to action, but if you have not had a call with me before to look at your help statement, it is my freebie. It is part of what I do to serve my audience and build that trust, build that rapport, etc. So you can have some time with me looking at your help statement where I give you a formula and we work it through together and we really explore how you're expressing what you do, who you do it for, how you help them, etc. So that is there. I'll pop the link in the top when we're done. So take that if you've not had it already. But that's a great place to start, because if you're using your help statement to its full advantage, you can have it in your banner behind you, you can have it in your headline on LinkedIn, you can use it as part of an intro in a networking event, in a podcast, wherever. It can go everywhere with you. So your positivity message starts there. So here's what I hear a lot when people join me, and I'll say, who do you serve? Tell me about your person. Well, they are a struggling mom who just feels that massive, overwhelming state of there's too much to do and not enough time. They feel really frustrated. They're this, they're the other. Lots and lots and lots of negative words. I say, okay, I've got a picture of your person. Brilliant. And now what do you help them achieve? What's the other side of that? Well, they might achieve balance. They might be able to proactively manage their time. They might be able to start their business, whatever the other end is. Then we get to the point where we're looking at the help statement. Now, the first part of that is, who do you help? Really simple. Simple, not easy, but simple. Who do you help? So I say, right, let's go back to that. Think about your person. How are we going to describe them? And I'll use mine as an example. So I would say, okay, right, well, I help struggling entrepreneurs. I help, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's not enough. Like, let's narrow it down. Okay, so I help struggling female online entrepreneurs or female service-based entrepreneurs, whatever I can narrow it down. Now, for a long time, I used the word struggling, but here's where that pain point ends up creeping in without even realising. Got to use my hands to describe this. You have a line of neutrality, and that is how somebody is feeling. Okay, so this is your line of neutrality. People that are below that line are in that state of struggle, victim, feeling hopeless, not necessarily able to see a path. They might have been in it for years. They might have a lot of other things, a lot of other factors in their life which is contributing to that. But they are the people who are in that much more victim, struggling, overwhelmed mentality. They're what I describe as below the line. Then you've got the people who are sat in neutrality, and then you've got the people who are above the line, who are much more in that, likely to be in that state of, okay, so I'm in a moment of, this isn't ideal, but I know that there's something else. I might be in a temporary period of my life where I can't solve this on my own, but I know there's something more. I'm working towards that. Those people would not necessarily use the word struggling. And to speak to those people, which is what this is all about, of course, it's honing that messaging on a psychological level. Talking to them in a way that really matches their brain waves is all about using positive language. So here's the difference. The below the line person, I help struggling female entrepreneurs to get consistent clients without blah, 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 and the rest. As opposed to, I help ambitious, results-driven female coaches. Can you hear the difference? Like, the person may or may not be that different if you kind of looked at them as two individuals, like, all right, that one just not getting clients, and she might say, oh, I'm really struggling. And that's okay, but that's only her temporary state. That isn't a permanent description of her. And it's sort of not what she associates herself with. As opposed to more your ambitious, results-driven. That's the person above the line that goes, yes, I've got this. Okay, I don't know how to do it, but I've totally got this. You know, this is the person who is ready to go that extra step, who's ready to take the action, who knows that those results are there for them to go and get. They just have to fill in the gaps of knowledge to be able to put the pieces together and get there. So by starting with your messaging in something as simple as who is it that you serve? How can we describe them in that inspirational, positive, uplifted way? Your message is going to land with those people above the line. The people below the line are hard to market to. They're also really hard to serve. If you do end up being able to serve someone who's in that state of total overwhelm and struggling, it's not to say that you can't give them great advice and you can't serve them through freebies or doing talks where you know that they're collected. I'm not saying those people are lost, should be forgotten and ignored, far from it. The more you're able to have that ripple effect on those people that are really ready and they're like, yes, let's do this, you're going to, in effect, be impacting all of the space in the people that you work with. And who knows, you could go on to give scholarships, or you could do something more as, like a group charitable event, which helps those people who are more in that victim mentality. So by really thinking about showing them that there's a way, that gives them that hope. It gives them the, yes, actually, I can do this. I can see how it would work for me. And they're going to be ready. They're going to be excited. They're going to be willing. And isn't that so much better to be able to get someone to make the decision from that point rather than digging into the pain points? Like, just, it makes me go cold. But it's so commonly seen out there. And then the final piece I just want to talk to you about is the showing. Being inspirational by showing, not just telling. So it's great to be able to say, I can do this thing for this person and I can get this result for you. But how can you show them? How can you demonstrate through maybe your own experience or the experience of the people that you help that there are those little wins along the way? They don't always have to be these massive headline worthy huge transformations. They're not always like that. And we all know that life doesn't run like a movie all the time, does it? Sometimes those transformations are in those tiny moments. They're those that could have made me really cross, but actually I've been able to shift it, or I've been able to deal with that situation differently, or actually I wasn't sure what to do when I started my week, but now I've got a plan. And they're in those tiny moments where you can articulate to your person and give them that inspiration that, okay, yeah, it doesn't need to be this great big dramatic transformation story. It can be those incremental steps that lead somebody to get a big result. So when you're thinking about your inspirational content, and that of course forms part of the structure, which I've done a live not that long ago about, the fact that you can rotate your content around different themes, and one of them should always be inspiration, always have something in there. Think about those tiny moments, and it might be your life. It might be someone in your life that you're serving. It might not even be in a context of what you do, but you can see how they've made that shift, and now they make that connection, and now they're ready to actually tackle something in a different way. It might be that you help with time planning and someone tells you that they managed to get 20 minutes back out of their day that was just previously an absolute dream. But by being able to really showcase the results so that you're not just telling them, I can help you get consistent clients. Okay, but on the way to that, like what turns up? So for my clients, it's about understanding that they can share great content and build a strategy around how they want to share. It's about them having something that sits behind their business to be able to help them manage their leads and nurture their people. So it's building something that runs for them, that allows them still to serve. All of those things lead up to actually building a viable business with a pipeline of potential amazing people that you can serve that are all good and ready to receive your message. So let me just circle back. I'm checking that I've covered everything I scribbled on metaphorically scribbled onto my notes before we started. So why is pain point marketing damaging your business? It's damaging your business because you will be seen as part of that bullying culture. If your messaging and your processes, your entire marketing strategy rely on bullying, it will eventually fall down. You won't feel good about that relationship in time. Your person will not get the best results. And it's so easy to avoid. You do not have to do it. There is a difference. Let's be really clear. There is a difference between helping somebody make a decision and maybe even supporting them through their objections. That is different to saying, oh yeah, your life could be awful. If you were a health coach helping somebody with nutrition or weight loss, it's an extreme example, but this is kind of how the whole pain point marketing thing works. It's a bit like saying to them, if you don't sort yourself out, you're going to have a heart attack and die. We don't need to do that. Our brains are already 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of us. So our brains already know that. So let's show them that actually there's an inspirational journey. It doesn't have to get to that horrible bullying. And if you're doing it by accident, again, be kind to yourself and go, okay, I didn't even realise I was including that, because you've seen it, you've watched it, you've probably modelled it without even realising. So bring some consciousness to it, be aware of the language that you use, and use that inspirational, collaborative. How can you show people? Which brings me on to the second point. By being an inspiration in yourself, that is going to immediately allow your people to say, yeah, actually, she can do it, I can do it. She's no different to me. So be realistic, show the ups and downs, show the little moments as well as the big moments. Celebrate it all on your client's behalf and on your own behalf. And then by being that clearly showing and not just telling, it allows somebody to make that connection. It allows them to see themselves in what you're talking about. So it's not just the big result you're working towards, it's those little results along the way. It's, yes, feeling like I can put a regular post out. Some of the clients that come to me just would not have the first clue as to how to create an overall brand voice or a statement. So even nailing that for them, yes, my big statement is that I'm going to help you get consistent clients, but I can't just wave a magic wand and get that done for you. There is lots of steps along the way, and each one of those contains a big win. So being able to post, being able to put your own photo up there. Some of my clients do not want to be seen. So, okay, we find a different method, and now they're suddenly promoting their business using a podcast. So it doesn't have to be I can only share that aligns with this, client win, client win, client win, client win. It doesn't have to look like that. What are those incrementals? And show them and share them on a really regular basis. Tell me if that has been helpful. Tell me if that has made you go, yeah, actually there's a couple of things I can tweak, because as I said, it's all good. Awareness is always the first stage. Think about the way that you can provide that inspiration on everything that you do. Show them you can do it. So my ask of you today is slightly different. I have a new, I'm going to call it a product. It's not really a product, a new experience. And there's lots more details on that coming later on this month. But before I put all the final touches to it, I want some feedback. I just literally want your views. I want to make sure that what I include in this almost finalised offer is absolutely going to be perfect when it comes out. I know it's not going to be perfect, but as close as I can get it. So I would love for you to take just a moment to answer 2 really simple questions in a survey. I'm going to pop the link somewhere around here so that you'll be able to see it. It is for the launch at the end of this month, but I'm going to leave it open because this is an ongoing basis, and I know lots of people will watch this on the replay. So it doesn't matter when you're watching this, you can still go in and give me your thoughts. They're 2 really simple questions, and that's all I ask of you. So if you've got value from here, if you know that this is something that you can start to integrate, then go and check out the quiz, the survey thing, and you'll be able to put your answers in there. There's a little bit more information about what it relates to in there as well, which is called the Client Magnet Intensive Experience. So you can find out a tiny bit more, and you can tell me if you'd like to hear more about it as well. Have an amazing week. It is 25 past, so bang on time. I hope that's been useful. Any questions at all, any thoughts, any feedback, love to hear them. And thank you for joining me. I'll see you really soon. Bye.